Well, hey there, idiots. Welcome back to Observe. In today's video, we're going to be analyzing the nonverbal communication of an apology that was released a little bit ago by the rapper Diddy. More on that entire situation, kind of the backstory of it in just a second. Let's go ahead and roll the intro first. Okay, so as I mentioned, Diddy, legally known as Sean John, recently changed to Love, Sean Love Combs, has recently released an apology for an upsetting video that surfaced of him attacking his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. The video for which Combs apologized came after Ventura sued him in November with charges including rape, physical abuse, and complete control of her social and professional life. Ventura's suit, totaling $30 million, was settled the day after it was filed for an undisclosed amount. While Ventura told CNN that she had chosen to resolve this matter amicably, Combs' attorney said that it was in no way an admission of wrongdoing on Combs' part, and that it didn't change his denial of the allegations. However, the lawsuit carried out by Ventura was only the first in a series of civil lawsuits raised against the rapper. Combs is facing no less than 6 separate charges of sexual misconduct, ranging from harassment all the way to rape from unrelated witnesses. He has also been accused of regularly hosting sex trafficking parties or events with underage women and a collection of illegal drugs. The accusations further implied that record label executives were not only aware of the activities carried out by Combs, but that they were also likely financially benefiting from the access to the various celebrities and dignitaries who would attend these depraved gatherings. In response to these accusations, Combs' attorney stated that they were a work of pure fiction riddled with reckless name-dropping. On March 25th of 2024, Combs' homes in both Los Angeles and Miami were raided by federal Homeland Security investigation agents. While the agency did not elaborate on the investigation that prompted these searches, NBC News and the Associated Press reported that the searches stem from a sex trafficking probe. That being said, Combs has not yet been charged or accused by federal prosecutors of any crime, and it remains unclear as to whether the charges against anybody will be forthcoming. Combs has denied all of the allegations placed against him, with his attorneys stating that some of the lawsuits and their accusations are simply money grabs, baseless, and sickening. At the point of making this video, Combs has not been criminally charged. On Sunday, May 19th of 2024, Combs posted to Instagram to apologize for his behavior in the surveillance video that showed him grabbing, dragging, and kicking Ventura back in 2016. The video appeared to enforce the claims that Ventura had made in November with her lawsuit, which an attorney for Combs called offensive and outrageous at the time. In Ventura's November lawsuit, she accused Combs of paying the hotel from which the surveillance video was captured $50,000 for the footage itself. Upon viewing the footage, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office called the video extremely disturbing and difficult to watch, but said that no charges would be filed because the assault took place beyond the statute of limitations in California, which in layman's terms translates to it was a little too long ago, so we can't do anything about it. While the legal system is claiming that their hands are rather tied, rendering them unable to act for justice despite the evidence demanding it, the internet has not accepted any such restraints. Many are outraged by the actions of Combs and even further angered by his lackluster apology. In today's video, we will be analyzing Combs' nonverbal communication during this recent apology video to see what sort of emotional context rests under his words so that we can better answer the question if he is actually so sorry as he claims, or is this just simply an attempt to brush all of these actions under the proverbial rug of time. I think that is enough of the backstory and background of this. Let's go ahead and dive into this very short little video. We'll talk about what we see.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life.
I'm gonna go ahead and pause here. So remember, this is an apology video that he is doing in regards to some very physical, visual evidence of him abusing another person. And his immediate thing that he starts off with here is an attempt at manipulation for the audience by saying, this is pretty hard for me. It was a dark time in my life then, and it's so hard. So already this is a manipulation point. Also, we're seeing a slew of desynchronized nonverbal communication with that, as he's trying to put on this consternation style of expression with his eyebrows drawn together and lowered a little bit, and then he's looking down and he's doing some no shakes in there, but it's all synchronized with what he's saying verbally as well, which lets us know that on some level that is a performative expression that he's doing, and it lines up with the manipulation that he's already doing verbally. So far, this isn't a start to an apology. This isn't a start to trying to take ownership for anything. This is just a start of him trying to manipulate the people around him. Not a good sign. Let's continue though.
Sometimes you got to do that. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is
All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say he's about to obviously say that his behavior is not acceptable, which is a good thing to say, but it is now a good quarter of the way through his apology video, and so far, he hasn't said anything of an apology. It's all just been centered around him and how he feels and what he experienced, and that's not the point of this apology. That's not the point of him trying to come and speak about anything. It's to take ownership for the actions he did, and to apologize, and to hopefully offer some form of compensation, be it emotional, psychological, physical, what have you. He's supposed to be offering something along those lines. Nevertheless, that is not what he's been doing. All that this has been so far is just an attempt for him to manipulate the people around him into garnering more sympathy for himself. Anyway, let's keep watching.
It's inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. So the no shake that's in there could be a possibility of desynchronization, which if it's a desynchronization point, that means that he is not buying what he's saying. He's saying one thing, it is nonverbal communication, is conveying a very different thing. There's that possibility. Now the no shake is fairly macro, and it would also make sense with the contextual you would not believe, as he's saying something that sounds arguably very unbelievable, that he's taking full responsibility and that there's no excuse and blah, blah, blah. That's not how he has lived the entirety of his life or career in the public eye. He has never done that taking accountability thing. There is still enough of a nonverbal pop around there that it is a red flag. I wouldn't necessarily believe that is a desynchronization. Not necessarily. Again, it's too macro. But even if it's not desynchronization, the question again is asking, why would we as the consumer, the viewer, people watching this situation, why would we find it unbelievable? Why does he feel the need to non-verbally display that it could be unbelievable or that we might not believe it? We're seeing a lot of non-verbals around this, so we're gaining some understanding. Let's continue.
I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now.
I don't believe that necessarily either. Again, he's keeping a constant no shake in there, which all of the times that he's been keeping it in there has never once been an affirmative nod to reinforce or be synchronized with the statements that he's saying. Regardless, there's a level of unbelievableness about this that even he himself is giving off non-verbally from this. Along with that, when he says, I was disgusted, there's no reflection in his non-verbal communication of that, so I'm not necessarily going to lean into that. That being said, just because a person says they're feeling a certain way doesn't mean that they're going to show that they're feeling that certain way, but it isn't helping his case so far. Let's keep watching.
I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy and go into rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace.
This is the part where I'm starting to get a little bit fed up with him, because now he's again playing this victim card. I had to do this stuff. You get to go into therapy. It's a beneficial thing. So I had to go into therapy, get over yourself. And then he said he had to go into rehab as well. And so now we're starting to actually get this feeling that he just wants to He wants to manipulate. He wants to pull the victim card in this very he's not a victim situation. So he's saying this was really hard. I had to go into therapy. I had to get professional. I had to go into rehab. And then he pulls out another massive manipulation point, especially coming from a character such as himself and the accusations that are pointed towards him. He's like, yeah, I had to ask God for forgiveness as well. And nobody cares about any of this stuff that he's saying. This isn't important stuff. This isn't an apology. This is him making excuses. This is him manipulating. And so again, this apology is not an apology. It's not even close to an apology. There are a few points that he says the words of apologizing, and it's just washed away by the overwhelming amount of manipulation and victimhood that he's trying to take hold of. It's quite a time. Let's continue.
I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking.
Long silence there. I'm sure that silence is in there to try to imply that he's really working through something emotionally. It's not reflecting across his face. Because again, this isn't really a felt apology. This isn't an apology. This is a manipulation. So he tries to do that. And then he does a little bit of a nod in there. And then he says, I'm so sorry. And he leans back and he bares his neck a little bit. And he leans a little bit back. And that space and the neck bearing, that doesn't indicate submissiveness or genuine, authentic apologizing. It indicates this need to distance and a little bit of a dominating gesture with the moving of the head back. And then he goes in there and he's starting to say that he's going to change and be a better man, and the no shake comes back out in there again. Now I'm wondering why is this no shake coming back in here? It's macro again, but we're left again with the same thing that we saw everywhere else. Is this desynchronization, or is this him finding this element that he's saying as unbelievable? And both of those are red flags to me, in my opinion, in regards to this. But let's continue watching.
I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
That's it. He's not asking for forgiveness. No shaking there. That's synchronized. I'm not asking for forgiveness. His entirety of his apology was littered throughout with this no shake, with these desynchronized points of emotional attempts at displays, and then the verbal throughout it is just him attempting repeatedly to garner sympathy and manipulate. I personally do not believe this apology. It does not. If he was apologizing to me in this would not be something that I would take as a genuine apology. There's too many qualifiers and there's too much manipulation for it to be genuine. But that's just my opinion from the things that I've been able to learn and from the knowledge base that I have. So let me know your opinion in the comments of this video. Is there anything that I've missed? If you did like this video, hit the like button, hit subscribe if you want to see more. I'm going to be releasing more content to my Patreon and to my memberships. Some more of the personal style content. So if you would like to be able to see that style of content and you would like to be able to support the Observe channel, please consider following one of those two groups, either the memberships or the Patreon. Check out the socials, everything like that, and becoming more active on there. But without further ado, that's all that I've got for the day. My name is Logan, and you have been oh so awesome as you always are, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.